r/ask Reddit. What common misconceptions really irk you? Freedom of speech. People seem to think that freedom of speech means that they can say anything they like and not face any consequences from employers or people who think they're a-holes. The First Amendment only protects you from the government and not private employers and other people. I wish more people understood this. That acne is a result of poor hygiene. If washing my face could cure my acne, I think I would have figured that out a long time ago. It's more of a hormonal thing, right? Cystic acne tends to be hormonal, while more surface types, like blackheads, are clogged pores. Pore size, of course, is hereditary. I think bacteria also have a role to play in it by eating dead skin or something, but I'm not sure, so don't quote me on it. The human eye can't see more than 30 frames per second. That's not even how your eye works. Most peasants believe this crap. That Marilyn Monroe was a size 12. I'm not sure why it bothers me so much, except that I used to be really into vintage clothing. People don't understand that a size 12 in 1955 was the equivalent of a size 2 now. At her heaviest she probably wore a modern size 6. I mean, you can tell just by looking at her that she's not a modern size 12. What is wrong with you people? And I'm done ranting. When I started reading this I thought Marilyn Manson had huge feet. Said this before, but when people don't seem to understand the difference between race, religion, culture, and nationality. Could've, should've, would've. How theories and science work. Yes, I get so tired of ignorant morons saying, it's only a theory. My evolution professor spent literally, and yes I'm using the word in its literal form, the first full 2 days of class drilling the real definition and meaning of the term scientific theory into us. Went home for my break. Mom asked me why I would take some stupid class like evolutionary biology since it's just a theory. I might have had a mini stroke because of that. Well, they're not wrong. They just don't realize what they're saying. That if you know a lot about a religion you must be religious. Whatever your beliefs, religions are a huge part of history, and the various religious texts all make for interesting reads. Check out the Jesus freak over here, guys. He already invited me to a Bible study. Next thing you know he'll be trying to circumcise you. That blood inside your body is blue until it reacts with oxygen. Complete bollocks. That an anxiety panic attack is just when someone feels stressed and overreacts. You know what an anxiety attack is like? You know that feeling when you're going down the stairs with your arms full and you miss a step, or when you lean back in your chair just a bit too far. Then it almost tips you over. It's that feeling non-stop from anywhere to a minute to hours long. And then you can't breathe, like a fat guy is sitting on your chest. Edit. As many of you pointed out, they feel a lot like having a heart attack. When people have a headache and complain about having a migraine, and when they're stubborn about it being a full-out migraine, I can obviously tell it isn't. You seem totally fine. The severity of your pain isn't what dictates if it's a migraine or a headache, which seems to confuse people who get actual migraines as much as those that don't. I get retinal migraines and my head doesn't hurt at all, so the headache specialist told me, anyhow, I just get messed up vision and confusion for a bit. That all people with mental disorders are scary, unstable, and dangerous. There are high functioning people and then there are low functioning people with disorders. Some of the greatest people I know have mental disorders whom are high functioning and are able to live normal day-to-day lives. But heaven forbid they breathe a word of their depression, bipolar mood swings, borderline fits of rage, etc. without judgment being passed or people fearing them. Educate yourselves. I was having dinner at my boyfriend's parents' house a few months back. They have a Japanese exchange student currently staying with them. We started to have a conversation about the mass stabbing in Calgary and about how, other than having depression, which isn't really a warning sign, there were not any warning signs that this kid would become violent. The exchange student proceeds to tell us how he thinks that everyone with a mental illness should be institutionalized. It kind of blew my mind that anyone would think like that. But I'm sure he isn't the only one with that opinion. Women are better parents. I feel this one. I moved out of my mother's house when I was 12 and have been raised by a single dad ever since. He's a much better person as well as parent. But people always wonder why I moved because it's better to stay with your mom. Stupid. That being poor means you didn't try hard enough to be successful. Success can be measured in ways other than wealth. Chicago is no more windy than other cities. It's called the Windy City because of the politicians, but no one knows exactly who coined that. Possibly Mark Twain. Everyone asks how windy it is here, and I always have to explain it. Interesting. I went to Chicago for the first time recently and expected it to be windy, but it was pretty calm. A lot less windy than Boston or New York. I called my buddy from Chicago out on that bullshit. I was able to confirm that the Cubs sucking is not a myth though. They do suck. When people call their background image their screensaver, I don't know why this upsets me so much. That you can only be a Democrat or a Republican. Wake up, people, there are other options. Someone asked me the other day, are you a Democrat or a Republican? No. Alternatively, and this is mostly Reddit specific, the fact that you're a member of one of the two mainstream parties doesn't mean you're uneducated shill either. If you wake up early in the morning, you're automatically a super productive, upstanding member of society, and if you sleep in and stay up late, you need to get your priorities in order. When you open the door in the winter and someone says hey, you're letting the cold in. You're technically letting the warm out. It's like when someone leaves a window open while it's raining and the sill starts to get wet and you say you're letting the dry out. I don't think people say that. Well, they should. Good concept. Bad example. As you open a door on a cold day, yes, the hot air escapes, but in its escaping, it is replaced by cold air, so one is letting out the warm air and letting in the cold air. Now, when you grab onto a steel pole with bare hands on a cold day, you are letting out the heat in your hands only. It's not giving you cold. When people say I diagnosed myself with anxious schizotypia disorder and that's why I'm not social, it's just people finding excuses for why they are unhappy. Even worse is when they self-diagnose their children. I had a teacher who basically told her kid she was autistic because she sucked at math. Organic foods are better for you. Genetically modified foods are bad for you. That gender somehow dictates what you can and can't do. Only boys can play with trucks and only girls can play with dolls? Bullshit. Let a kid be a kid and play with whatever they want. It's crap like this that leads to adults feeling like gender can dictate job opportunities. Women can do just as well in science-based fields as a man. And in some cases, even better. Also, plenty of men would be great working with children. Tossing back a few cold ones after work or at a social get-together is entirely acceptable. But smoking marijuana makes you a druggy pothead. Smoking marijuana with mates is just chillin' but snorting a few lines. Going to a strip club and punching a cop makes you some kind of drugged up coke fiend. That Scrodinger's cat was a serious thought experiment about superposition. The scenario was actually postulated to present issues with the Copenhagen interpretation and superposition on a macro scale. It is an example of reductio ad absurdum. The massive misuse of the word literally. Came here to post figuratively this. You're wrong. They're not misusing literally. They're using the word literally figuratively in order to show exaggeration. That all bacteria are bad for you, and therefore, that antibacterial hand wash, detergent, floor wipes, hand rub, clothes wash etc is effective and all good for you. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.